Hey friends, it's time to check on our pre-compost bucket. Now it's been sitting on my porch here for 2 weeks and I just wanted to go move it and I noticed some things wiggling on it. Like there's those there, there's some here, there's some what feel like dead ones. So I'm gonna take the cover off out here and give it a quick rinse because I don't want to potentially release whatever's growing in here on my patio, so I'd rather do it up there. And also, if the screen barrier is working, which maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I would like to prevent them from going in there. But like this guy, he's trying real hard to get in there, so I don't know if anybody got through or not, but I see this little gnat, which is what I assume these are. I'm assuming that's the larva for them. I don't know. But, I mean, obviously, we're in Florida. It's the middle of the summer. It's hot. There's bugs everywhere. The door is open and closed a million times a day from letting the dogs out, so who knows what this could be. I've been really liking this new stainless steel hose, and it's got, like, a cool, I don't know, lever instead, so it's a little easier to manipulate one-handed. But I don't want to put water in there, so I'm going to try and take the cover off and spray it separately. Well, flies are in here, for sure. Not a lot, just a few. I've already started rinsing, the cover backs in, but I realized they were underneath it, so I don't know if they got through and lingered here or what, but they're here too. May as well let Moose help since we're out here. Yeah. So, got my shovel. I'll show you guys how it's looking in here. There were definitely flies when we opened it. There's clearly flies still in here, but I wanted to give a good shuffle and mixing just to see how much food to browns ratio there is in here. There's clearly maggots of some sort, larvae of some sort in here, if not multiple things. So, oops. But the food is breaking down pretty significantly. It actually doesn't, I mean, it smells, but it's not terrible. Okay. I'm just gonna keep on mixing this a little bit and try to get to the bottom, but I mean, there's larvae. There's definitely stuff in here. So maybe if I didn't leave it for 2 weeks, I don't know. You want to smell moose? It's stinky, which is probably your favorite. Yeah, you licking your lips. No, don't lick this. Don't lick this. Nope. How about you go inside? So at this point, I don't want to start over again, but I do want to try and troubleshoot this a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is add mosquito bits. Is there such a thing as too many? I don't know, but I put a bunch in there. Then I'm going to add some shreds. And I'm still going to add, on top of the brown shredded papers, I'm still going to add 1 container of frozen food, at least. This one has all sorts of stuff in it, but I really need to empty out my freezer. Okay. I think we could fit more in. Alright, so I added the second container of frozen food. So I'm going to cover it with a lot of the shredded browns. I just want to show you guys, it is already, depending on where you're at least at the height that we were worried about before covering, but obviously they're in here already. So I'm just gonna put as many browns as I can shove in here as possible. I have a plan. Now, it was pointed out in another video that we should cover the outside layers with the screen as opposed to just the inside. So I'm thinking, because I filled this up, I'm out of shredded paper, cardboard, whatever, bags. So I put more mosquito bits on top. I am going to cover this sucker up, and then I'm going to let it air out and dry a little bit. And then I'm going to add some of the screen repair tape that we used on the inside. I'm going to put it on the outside part. And then I'm trying to decide at what point we want to keep going or start over. Just stepping inside because there's a lot of mosquitoes out right now. So I think I'm going to let this keep going because I've already put a lot of food and resources in there. It's just the gnats and stuff that are getting in, at least right now. So if I put an extra layer of protection on the outside, then maybe they won't escape and or get back in. And it'll just they'll have to just complete the life cycle of the ones that are in there. And then I'm thinking adding more browns to help keep up with the moisture is going to make a big difference. But I'm also kind of just considering starting an outdoor bin. The main thing I'm worried about with that is, I mean, besides bugs, is just, you know, how do you get through all of those castings? So still kind of trying to decide what we want to do with that. But I think it's going to be okay for now. We just need to keep this going because I want to keep adding food and having it break down, because we've already put, gosh, let me look at my notes real quick. I put 2 in today. I put 2 containers in 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so it's probably had somewhere between 5 and 6 containers of food added to it. So there's a lot of good food in there, and I don't want to just throw it out in my tumbler, which I probably could do, but I think where it's at is manageable if we keep adding browns and trying to manage the liquid, because I think the liquid building up in there is probably causing us the most trouble. So we're going to start troubleshooting that first, and obviously then gnats. So for you guys, it's only been a second, but for me, it's been 2 days, and let me just tell you what happened. So we washed the bucket, we let it dry, and I let it dry for about a day. Then yesterday, I went in and I put the secondary layers of the, what are we calling this? The screen mesh on here. And then I was like, okay, we'll let it sit for a little bit. And then I came out to check on it, and I could not, I mean, I could believe it, but I was genuinely impressed by how much, I mean, these guys pushed through the screen. I mean, you can literally see them coming through here, and they're obviously all over. So I don't think this is going to work out how we thought it was going to work out, but it was a really good idea. I don't know if I had doubled up on the screen originally, if that would have helped. We'll try it with our next bucket, but I'm thinking probably isn't going to help as much as I wanted to. And I don't know if you guys can see, but there's a little, I mean, they're everywhere. So I'm trying to decide what I want to do, because obviously this screen isn't helping the situation. So at this point, I wouldn't feel comfortable pre-composting in here and then putting it straight into my box that I have in the house. I could try and freeze it, but that would mean I would have to somehow empty this into, I guess, a large enough container, contain all of the flies and stuff that are obviously going to emerge out of here, and then stick it into my freezer hopefully in a container that's safe enough where nothing comes out of it, which is like clearly easier said than done. I don't feel good about putting this in my freezer where all of my actual food is. I mean, these guys are obviously resilient enough to pull through all of this. So yeah, I think this might end up going out in the pre-compost or the compost tumbler that I have, and just letting it naturally break down out there. And then I think we're gonna have to just keep filling the compost tumbler more so than trying to do anything like this. I love the idea of the pre-compost, but I also don't want flies on my porch and in my house, and certainly not in my worm bin. So I think we're gonna mark this one as a loss. I don't really know what else to do, but it's starting to get flies hovering around it on my porch, and I'm not into that because I don't want them in my house. So I'll probably be moving it out, probably over here for a little bit, and just letting it, I mean, it's a pretty cloudy day here in Florida, so the Claudette storm is definitely creating a lot of coverage. Even though we don't get any rain, we still get cloud coverage. So I think I'm gonna leave it over there. Maybe it'll get some rain, maybe it won't, but I'll let nature work itself out here, and then I'll hopefully have less of the larva on top, and I'll just toss this into the tumbler. But I think we're gonna mark experiment number 2 as a loss, and I'm sure, well, you know, let's just go look at it right now. We'll just open this up real quick. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a bunch of flies coming out of here. Well, that's my safe thought. I mean, there's plenty of cardboard in here, but I mean, look at all that. That's all larvae crawling up in here. And I had, you know, put full-on frozen food in here, so we know the food was mostly clean in that sense when it went in here. So they still managed to get in here and reproduce, and I just don't feel good about continuing this breeding cycle. So I think we're gonna have to just put it in our tumbler. And for those of you not familiar, this is the tumbler I'm talking about. We currently are filling the left side with food products. The right side, I'm kind of doing an experiment again with what I perceive to be softer greens from the garden and like random things. Also, can we just appreciate these amazing roses right now? Those are pretty spectacular, all the roses. Focusing here. So the left side is currently getting food right now, and so that's our human food. So I guess we'll just empty it in there and let them play out naturally. I don't really know what else to do. So that's kind of too bad. I'm not sure. I mean, I did let it set for 2 weeks without fussing with it because I was trying to let it be, I don't know, a little bit more interrupted and let the decomposition process happen on its own. And I was also trying not to open it as often. So I don't really know what I could have done differently. I'm gonna maybe put so much more bedding in there, but then at that point it's gonna be mostly bedding and almost no food parts. So overall, I don't know. I'm sure there's something I could do to prevent this more in the future. But right now, I'm gonna think about how I want to proceed again. I'm also half tempted to just be like, screw it, whatever we can fit in the freezer in our portion sizes for our worms, we do, and everything else we're just gonna stick it in the compost tumbler and kind of hope for the best. Like, that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I'll think about it, because I'm my bins that I have here. I mean, like, you know what else I could do? I could put some sunflowers in there or something, because I've been trying to think about what I can fill behind these planters that will create that won't mess with their airflow, but will help bring more pollinators and just plants, flowers, mostly focusing on flowers, to the garden. And so I've been thinking about putting buckets back there that I can put things that are easy to grow, like sunflowers, in it. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. But for now, we're gonna mark this as lost, and I'm gonna go dump it out as best I can, and then I guess let it sit out in the sun and kind of sterilize. I don't know. Things are following along with the composter, pre-composting, I guess, experiments. Will probably be a part 3 or experiment number 3, let's say, but probably not for a little bit.